All right, well, thanks for coming today. This is the course on the Liturgy of the Domestic Church. This first session will be on the foundations, the biblical foundations for the family as the domestic church. The next one will be more theological, and then we'll go into some liturgical themes that we find in the family as the domestic church. I really look forward to this day because this topic is just so personal and foundational to every one of us. We all come from families, and God's so good to us that He gives us this thing that's common to all of us as a really practical means to growing in holiness and our participation in His divine work. So as we begin today, I wanted to share with you two excerpts from a letter a mother is writing to her sister-in-law about her children. And I think that'll help illustrate what I'm trying to say. So this first excerpt, quote, "I know you've heard of my daughter's departure from her boarding school. As you can imagine, I'm very upset. That doesn't quite express it. This has caused me profound sorrow, which I'm still dealing with. They were my only hope to reform this child, and I was convinced they would keep her, but it wasn't possible, in spite of their best goodwill, or else they would have had to have separated her from the other children. As soon as she joined them, she couldn't control herself and displayed a lack of discipline without equal. I believe only a miracle could change her nature. It's true, I don't deserve a miracle, but I'm hoping against all hope. The more difficult she is, the more I convince myself that God couldn't allow her to remain this way. I'm praying so much that He does something. When she was 18 months old, she was cured, when she really should have died. Why would God have saved her from death and then not do anything?" So clearly, this is a mother with a difficult child. And so many parents know the anguish of dealing with difficult children. But a second excerpt, this one's a little bit shorter. Same woman writing to the same sister-in-law, and she says this. "Oh, another thing, little T is very upset. She broke a little vase that I gave her this morning. Like normal, as soon as it happened, she came and told me. I acted upset, and her little heart swelled, and she got all choked up. A few minutes later, she came running back to me and said, 'Don't be upset, Mom. When I earn a lot of money, I promise I'll buy you another one.' So as you can guess, I'm not going to be getting a vase." And I had to chuckle at that one. Again, what parent hasn't had their things broken by their kids? My wife and I, just the other day, we hear our daughter sheepishly calling for us upstairs, and when we go up, we discover that she had gotten the brilliant idea to step on the toilet paper holder to look out the window, and when the thing gave way, ripped a gigantic hole in the wall. And so now we have that to deal with. But the reason why I chose these passages is they're written by a saint. And maybe you're guessing that conclusion, but in addition to the mother, that first daughter, she's a servant of God whose cause is up for sainthood. And the little girl with what I like to quote Mary Poppins, the pie crust promise, easily made, easily broken, about the vase. She's called the greatest saint of modern times and is a doctor of the church. So maybe you've guessed it by now, but that mother is Saint Zélie Martin. And the troubled child is Saint Leonie Martin, or not saint, but servant of God. And then the little girl promising to fix the vase was Saint Therese of Lisieux. So, and then not to mention the husband, Saint Louis Martin. So you've got a family, clearly just kind of regular family, living their life, but they've got 3 saints and 1 on the way, and maybe even more after that. So I'm really inspired by that example of their family because they show that by faithfully living their vocation, it becomes a path for God. And of course we have Saint Therese, who is a doctor of the church because of her teaching on the little way, that by normal, everyday acts of love, we're brought to perfection in Christ.